Good morning, Grand Rising, good afternoon, and good evening to all my worldly friends. It is so beautiful. I've got to show you. Hi. We were just receiving more snow and big chunks of snow. Yeah, so beautiful. I've been just waking up to this day and pulled out a few oracle cards. Thought I would. Okay, we are gonna hold it like this. That I would pull some cards and start shuffling, and just wasn't that, And so then I retrieved the journal and started writing, and it was really quite lovely. Oh, that's why I want to share with you some messages that came through during this time. And one, even just in what I was saying about grabbing the cards to work with and pull a card, and it wasn't time yet. It continues to be such good information provided, and such a good position of awareness and allowance when we can recognize, become aware of, and allow ourselves to be in the season that we're in. To know when I'm apparently going to be switching hands. To know when you want something and when you want to want something. Because I feel like, when I started writing, that was where the energy was going. It was, although sometimes I can just, and I was like thinking and feeling into it. It was a bit of like wait for inspiration to bubble up, and stream of consciousness just warmed the muscle up. But I could feel the energy alive there. Whereas when I was working with the cards, it just wasn't there. It was like going at other places. To know when you want something versus when you want to want something. Because we can want to want something, right? We can idealize it, romanticize it, and all of these things, romanticizing something and idolizing something. Although I'm using it in this context, that doesn't mean that it's bad. Get that out of your head, good and bad, It's like, I more so see it as like there's a good way of being with a thing, of working with a thing. And I reckon romanticize your life, and but we can want to want something. Oh, how gorgeous would it be if I woke up and went right into Pilates and meditation and pulled cards and they were so in sync. And it's just like, you know what, actually, like, I'm gonna sip my water. I've got this sweet doggie who's going in and out a few times, and I'm letting her in and out and drying her off with the snow, and like, that's where my energy is this morning, and it's beautiful. And I'm wanting to write, and then I felt like first I was like, I don't want to, this notion of like, don't be on your phone. I was like, well, yeah, totally, like, there's not many things on my phone I want to check this morning, but I also was like, I want to check some things and I want to use this camera um, to record this. And some days I wake up and I'm like, the season that I'm in, or the mood, more or less. What's in a good way and most like honest is a quiet morning where I'm not speaking very much. And I also, sometimes that's true, and other times I can tell that that is like, I want that, you know. Like I romanticize a quiet morning, I idolize a quiet morning, and that's like the creme de la creme de la crop for me. And other times, like, I can recognize, oh yeah, I love when I have those, but that's not what's, we'll say, true for me this morning. And so it's really important to recognize that. I find it helpful because then, you know, here I am speaking and not going to be, I'm celebrating it because I recognize the ease and the real joy in being in clarity. I'm like, oh, I want to do this. This feels really true for me this morning. Let's follow that, you know? And when we recognize the season that we're in, we can tend to those seeds properly, right? Like, oh, we know what, have a better idea, more clear position of recognizing and working with the specific needs of that season. Oh, these seeds require this for this season. All right, you know, and the energy just flows. It flows easily. And so there's that. And it's a beautiful thing to recognize where you are at. It's like all of these, to let your soul and your body and your mind be together and to work together. That feels really, I wanted to say thorough and dense, like things have landed, they've materialized because they've come together. And then two other things I wanted to share with you all is the contrast is here to complement us. You know, I'm looking outside and it's foggy. It's so beautiful. We haven't gotten that much snow here where I'm at, but I knew it was coming. Much snow for what we're used to up in the north. But I knew it was coming, and here it is. It's been like snowing pretty consistently the past 3 days. And where I'm at, I can view the mountains from a different level from where I live, and the fog rolling in. It's like so eerie and romantic and beautiful. And, but as I'm sitting here, looking at these big snowflakes, and then and it's all white outside, and then on the inside I've got this fire. I'm like, one would think that fire and snow are opposites, and yet in this season of winter and snow, we're in a specific relationship with fire. It's one of providing us sustenance, warmth, and such gratitude for that. And it is because it's so cold out and so much snow that this relationship with fire, the opposite, is so illuminated to us. And then I thought about, in a few months, there's the potential occurrences of wildfires and how people's relationship with fire, or their focus point anyways, maybe not the root or the overall relationship with fire changes, but their position, their focus, mostly can change as a collective, where it's like wildfire and don't start a fire outside and and I'm like, that's so interesting that contrast is here to complement us, right? The coziness, this warmth in the cold, and just taking that to everything else. How can you bring in gratitude? Really is the master of disarming. How can you bring in gratitude for the polarity, the contrast, the spectrum? Because it reminds me of a saying that would come through to me since I was little, and it was more so about religion and just world practices that I was so curious about. I was like, well, I don't mind being curious about it and exploring as long as I feel like it, because I can't walk away losing. If anything, I'll find something that will either resonate more with me as true and in a good way than what currently does, and I'll be made better for it, or what I come to greet and learn and experience will show me that where I stand, like it will recommit me to this, and I'll have an even greater connection with what already exists for me as true. It will continue to evolve and grow. My relationship with it will. So, why fear learning, or why fear the opposite? I kind of forgot a bit where I was going, which can happen. But the contrast is here to complement us, give gratitude instead of like, oh, it's different. It's I don't know, whatever reasons could come up for things being different and change. What about like, thank you. I have greater clarity now because you exist. The fire is illuminated more so as such a treat for me in this time of winter. The stars are brighter in the darkness. Like it takes the contrast for us sometimes to see as if it was all one, like homogenized, just blanket of the same thing. We'd be blinded over. And so that brings me to the it's like sometimes to learn your yes, you learn your no first, or vice versa. To learn your no, you learn your yes first, or something, like it's all pointers. And I hope this isn't rubbing the mic. They're all pointers, and they're all pointing and playing with the form, and they provide information. And sometimes you swing one way to understand where it is that you want to stand, and where you do stand, like shows you where you want to be and where you are, and that's really good information. And the last point for now that I wanted to share with you all is let the light look into your heart. This is the light we need to see. The heart is the strongest, greatest, most powerful magnet. You can view that as light. Whatever this is for you, however you come into connection with this is the light we need to see. It's like it's got all the light doodads and doodaddies and bells and whistles, and that it's got like night vision and day vision and so powerful, so powerful. So what would happen if you let yourself be known, if you saw with this? And you turned the light on, or you even just went further into the dark, inky, suede sky parts of your life, and you found twinkling gems spread across. What if you just went into the darker parts, being able to see with this? It's amazing when I will say quiet into this. It's like looking for pain, and it's such an elusive thing when I try to find it, locate it, it moves around. And similarly with fear, while we can find words, language to pinpoint what we're scared of or what we're avoiding, I find even that is, to a point, distraction, and the technique of the fear to stay in that. Because it's like, while we're looking at this surface level language of what we're scared of and just whatever, like offering that up is done. It's like, if you really just like, the fear can still be behind the scenes doing its thing. And I find it's not needed to stay in that place, nor is it needed to constantly be searching for the fear. It's just go on a search to know what it is, and then realize that it doesn't change, no matter if the shapeshifter changes in the form. Fear is fear, and it is what it is. And when you find it and you see what it is, like, it takes its power away from you. And when I quiet down and I feel this like courage to go into it, to dissolve any illusion and be with it, there really is this like harmony, of like light and darkness, night sky, starlight, snow and fire, this complement. And there's this like it goes and just busts any like power that it could have over me. We are so capable. It's like when we feel scared of fear, that's because we're still under the thumb of fear. Just like turn it on, turn on the light and be like, have at it. Let's see you for what you are. Oh, you're still this. Like, they're not that scary. It's like getting in touch with the invincible one, the essence. All right. All the love, all the blessings to each of you. And I really appreciate you being here.